It looks like the apocalypse overhead. Day turned to night, the sky ranging from burnt umber to blood red.
I'm Wayne Friedman at a very orange Vista Point, and behind me, the Golden Gate Bridge at high noon. Usually it looks this way at midnight. That's coming up.
Spencer Christian with a closer look at the smoke and the haze and that orange-colored sky. ABC7 News at 6 starts now.
Building a better Bay Area for a safe and secure future. This is ABC7 News.
Woke up this morning and the sky was red.
And then it just got darker and darker. Mid-morning, but it feels like it's the middle of the night.
I mean, this is a once, hopefully in a lifetime situation.
One of our own ABC7 News meteorologists calling this a, quote, as you heard, once in a lifetime situation. History really above our heads and all around us today. So strange. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Ashley.
And I'm Kristen Z. What we endured today is improving. That is the good news. Drone View 7 flying above San Francisco this morning found a sky the color of a pumpkin. Hours later, the saturation was gone, replaced with a yellowish gray. Still, it's hard to say the city saw any daylight today. Check out this side-by-side view of the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. On the left, 10 a.m. On the right, 5 p.m. It is better, but we might not see truly blue skies until Friday.
And we have team coverage on these conditions and the impact that they've had on our lives today all across the Bay Area. But first, let's hear from ABC 7 News weather anchor Spencer Christian to explain what's going on. And Spencer, it is as strange as it is fascinating.
It is indeed both strange and fascinating, Dan, and very, very rare. One of the reasons we had that orange look in the sky is that the smoke and the particulate matter in the atmosphere tend to scatter or diffuse the light rays, the blue and green light rays, allowing the yellow and orange to penetrate and come down through, even through the low clouds that we had this morning. This is a satellite image showing all the smoke. It looks like a big bank of clouds moving over northern and central California, but that's smoke coming down in our direction from the Oregon fires and from the fires in California, and it's just collecting in the upper level of the atmosphere there. And then we had the clouds, the low clouds and fog, the marine layer, if you will, down at surface level. So it was sort of a layer cake effect with the smoke, a layer up above and the marine layer down below. And earlier today we had a rather vigorous onshore flow with weaker winds aloft. Right now the winds aloft are getting a little bit stronger, but not enough to change the setup that I've just explained to you. The marine layer below and the layer of smoke above. Now, surface wind right now is getting much calmer, although we do have a developing marine layer that's going to produce some low clouds and fog tonight. Air quality right now, not nearly so bad as you might think by looking at the ugly air out there. We've got yellow dots over most of the area indicating moderate air quality. We have poor air quality right now at Ukiah and Vacaville. Looking southward and eastward just a bit, Oakland, San Francisco, Redwood City, Fremont, Livermore, San Jose, Concord all have moderate air quality. And down the Santa Cruz Mountains, we even have good air quality indicated by the green dots over parts of the Santa Cruz Mountains. So on we go. What's going to happen tonight? The marine layer is going to kick in and push locally across the bay and locally inland. We might even see some drizzle during the late night and overnight hours near the coast and the bay. And we have the same setup or similar setup to what we saw this morning. But chances are it won't be quite so orange, the sky, as it was today. We'll just have to wait and see how those layers of smoke and fog stack up, so to speak. Dan and Kristen?
All right, hopefully it's a different mix, Spencer, with different results. We have never, ever seen a Golden Gate Bridge look the way it did today. For photographers, locals, and visitors alike, that means a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to capture a picture that's never been taken before. ABC7 News reporter Wayne Friedman captured and tweeted this photo at noon on the bridge with the supports disappearing in the haze. Now he joins us live from Vista Point in the North Bay. That was a gorgeous, if eerie shot, Wayne.
Well, thank you. You know, we talk about historic. Let's hope that this is the kind of historic that's one of a kind that we don't have again. Behind me, the Golden Gate Bridge seems almost normal, just a little tinge of brown compared with what we saw this morning. But the weirdness was everywhere.
It began with the morning open to interpretation.
We are in the final days of the dinosaurs! Wake the up, people!
We woke up all right to a reddened flag day unlike any other in our experience.
It feels like the world's ending.
A silhouetted world of black against orange that would do Halloween proud, though this came way too early in the season and proved much more frightening. It's as if the Bay Area woke up this morning, then drove through an existential novel come to life.
I mean, this is very surreal and kind of cool, but thinking about what's caused the cause of it.
The smoke came from fires. The ashes fell everywhere and mixed with the marine layer, producing a day when dawn turned promptly into night with no daylight in between.
If you didn't know what time it was, what time would you say it is?
Oh man, probably like 9 p.m., 9, 10 p.m.
Here's how San Francisco looked from a distance. Air so thick and dirty that it rendered the Golden Gate Bridge topless. Now the trip across. At Vista Point, tourists got a show, though they could hardly see the bridge at all.
I thought this is normal.
No. But it's new. Call it a Kodak moment in a digital age and a crazy year, seemingly running amok. What a long, strange trip it's become.
What are we going to wake up to tomorrow?
Listen closely, because we might hear swarms of locusts.
In a word, memorable. One woman here at the bridge today said, this is as memorable as the earthquake, Loma Prieta, in 1989. That puts it in context. At least the good part is we could take shelter from this day, not from that one. Live from the Golden Gate Bridge, Wayne Friedman, ABC7 News.
Wayne, you've been reporting the Bay Area a long time. Have you ever covered a story like this?
I've covered a lot of strange stuff, and I've seen a lot of strange stuff. I've got 6 decades in California, and no, the answer is never anything like it. And I guess that begins with just the element of surprise, of waking up and looking out your window and seeing something you didn't expect, never even imagined. I mean, I usually wake up with the sun, right? Well, the sun didn't wake me up this morning because there was no sun. Then my dog gets up, right? My dog doesn't want to have breakfast. She wants to go back to bed. She still thinks it's nighttime. And then there's the rest of the day. Okay, we never get sun. Noon, it's dark. My body clock is flip-flopped. I don't know what time it is.
Thank you for confirming that we all found it so disorienting. All right, Wayne, thanks so much.
Well, on the peninsula, check out this panoramic view from Redwood Shores. Orange sky reflected in the water below. This was shot at 10 a.m. And this was what people and their pets saw in San Mateo. It looked like someone used an orange highlighter, doesn't it, to color in the sky. This was at about 11 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, it does. In the South Bay, the sky looked a little better by early afternoon. This was the view recorded around 2 p.m. from our San Jose Tower camera at Highway 87. Not quite as intense, right, in terms of the orange. And here's a live look from that same camera 4 hours later. Continues to normalize just a little bit.
Well, orange skies loomed over the East Bay as well. The eerie orange is a sight to behold and also had an impact on local businesses, too. ABC7 News reporter Unser Hassan continues our live team coverage from downtown Walnut Creek. Unser?
Dan, good evening. What a week it has been for many businesses dealing with the global pandemic, the excessive heat, the threat of rolling blackouts. Here at Walnut Creek 4, the orange skies also leaving its mark, dumping ash on its entire fleet that now has to be cleaned up. The drive through downtown Walnut Creek at 10 a.m. felt more like 10 p.m. with the orange skies above.
Hey, we were joking, saying good evening to everyone instead of good morning.
Cameron Savarani is the general manager at Walnut Creek Ford, where along with the Star Wars-like skies came piles of ash.
Well, I can tell you our cars, this is the worst they've been with the amount of ash on them.
Savarani says sales have been steady during the pandemic, but a few customers did call to cancel appointments.
The biggest challenge is this morning, it felt like it was nighttime. It didn't feel like we were coming here ready to sell and service cars. So, yeah, it's definitely a mental battle.
Despite the orange skies, the band played on in Larkey Park in Walnut Creek, where Rich comes for a daily walk.
Looking at this, I mean, the sky's just about completely blocked out. I thought it was still, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, twilight, when I woke up around 8 or 9.
He says he was surprised to learn that the air quality was much better today compared to the past few days with the extreme heat. So it was a good day to get out for a walk.
Just to be out in nature, to whatever level it is much healthier than staying indoors on a couch, eating chips, watching a TV.
In Pleasant Hill, the orange umbrellas at Jack's Restaurant and Bar match the orange sky. That's where Brian Jackson met a business client for lunch.
And I woke up thinking it was 8:30 at night. It's wild. Never seen anything like it.
As far as 2020 goes, Jackson says the orange skies seem to be right on cue.
Other forms of, 2020, just on 2020. That's it.
Can't get away from it.
You can't get away from it. Not until January 1st.
Now back out here at the dealership, management says they'll wait to see what the rest of the week is like in terms of weather before washing down the entire fleet. Reporting live in Walnut Creek, Ansar Hassan, ABC7 News.
Yeah, cars look like they have a dusting of snow on them, don't they, Ansar? Thank you. The Oakland Zoo closed today because of the poor air quality and its potential impact on guests. Zookeepers do say, however, that all the animals are doing okay.
This limited impact is not causing obvious health problems for them. And animals, to some degree, they have a benefit in that they don't really understand, what's going on. I mean, I think for humans, for many of us, this is very disturbing because we understand we're living in a climate crisis.
Guests who had tickets for today will be able to rebook. The zoo has not announced plans for tomorrow. They'll have to see.
Indeed. Well, Drone View 7 flew over San Francisco this morning. Look how orange the sky was. There was no wind. You can't see any ripples on the bay. It was orange all the way around. A ferry had its running lights on, and the Bay Bridge was illuminated by the bay lights. The bay lights stayed on until just past 10 o'clock this morning. That's how dark it was. Our camera captured the moment they turned off. You can see the cars driving with their headlights on, and street lamps stayed lit on the Embarcadero.
Well, the fact that day looked like a very weird night left people awestruck in San Francisco. Check out City Hall. People had to stop and snap a picture of this really unprecedented and unique and stunning sight. John's Grill is usually packed for lunch, but the darkness kept people away. Here's how Alcatraz looked from Fisherman's Wharf. Tourists and locals alike just could not believe what they were seeing.
I think it's really insane. The zombie apocalypse.
We woke up around 7 in the morning, opened the curtains, and it seemed to be nighttime. It was pretty scary.
I think it's magical. What do you think, Marilyn?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to be here for something like this.
I have never seen something like this in my life. It's quite frightening.
I feel bad for the people who are like right in the heart of it right now, because this looks terrible, but imagine if you're right there.
Very good point. Workers had to make adjustments too. A construction crew had to use lights this morning in order to work in the dark.
Most of the smoke that's blotting out the sun is drifting in from the North Complex burning east of Oroville. That fire has burned 250,000 acres and is 38% contained. The Creek Fire in the Sierra National Forest has burned 163,000 acres. It's not contained at all, 0%. And the August Complex in the Mendocino National Forest has charred 421,000 acres. It's 24% contained. ABC7 News anchor Eric Thomas has more on the North Complex.
This is what extreme fire behavior looks like. Flames jumping towering pines and over rivers, burning at a rate of 1,000 acres every 30 minutes. Overnight, 80,000 acres. The fire is generating extremely dense smoke, which creates pyrocumulonimbus clouds, also known as fire thunderstorms. That smoke pumping into the upper atmosphere as high as 50,000 feet. That's 20,000 feet above the cruising altitude of passenger jets. This image shows the smoke churning up from the Bear Fire and moving toward the Bay Area. On the ground, mandatory evacuations are expanding into all 3 counties.
Apprehensive, very apprehensive.
Why is that?
Well, if fire gets in that drainage, everything's gone. It'll burn to the lake.
This morning, the Butte County Sheriff issued an evacuation warning for an area near Oroville. Another was issued for Lower Concow and Paradise, which burned in the 2018 Camp Fire. In San Francisco, Eric Thomas, ABC7 News.
And you can, of course, follow the fires all across California with our exclusive wildfire tracker. It also provides you with air quality information that's available now at abc7news.com and the ABC7 News app.
And we'll stay on this topic for another moment. When we come back, a psychologist helps us make sense of this scary, eerie sky. Turns out kids might be better at handling it than adults. We'll explain why. New at 6, a man is in the hospital after apparently being shot by a stranger who then shot and killed himself. This was in Pittsburgh this afternoon. Police say the shooter approached the victim in the front yard of a home and shot him in the chest Investigators don't think the men knew each other and say the motive is simply unclear at this point. As officers got to the scene, they saw the man believed to be the shooter walking away. They then heard a gunshot and found him dead. The victim is in serious condition but is stable. The ABC7 News I-team has learned that trial has resumed today after a month recess for 2 Bay Area college students accused in an international murder case that we've been following for you very closely. For the first time, the judge allowed pictures to be taken of Finnegan Elder of San Francisco. He's accused of stabbing undercover officer Mario Circello Rega after a drug deal went bad. It happened in Rome last summer. Rega's wife attends every hearing, and you can see her clutching her husband's photo. Gabriel Natali of Marin is also charged. He struggled with another officer that night, and he's accused of hiding the knife after the incident. The trial is expected to last through January.
Happening now, you're looking live at cars approaching the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. Check out the sky overhead. It's not looking as orange or dark as it did earlier, but it still looks gloomy and dismal because of the wildfires burning all around California. And even with the best mental health, waking up to today's orange skies can be a trigger for anxiety, panic, or depression. So how do we cope? ABC7 News reporter Chris Reyes gathers some advice for kids and adults.
How does it feel to be in this, just from a psychologist's perspective?
It feels very enclosing. It feels like, you know, when is this going to end?
This is noon in San Francisco. When this is your setting, this might just be the most comforting story we could do, sitting in front of a therapist or face-to-face with one. If you've already been mentally struggling and you're seeing this as you wake up, what are you thinking? How are you coping with this?
On days where things are at their worst, you know, my hope is that people can regroup and kind of put blinders on and take things one step at a time.
Dr. Sabrina Gable is a child psychologist and Dr. Carl Fleischer a psychiatrist. We asked for their best advice to help understand a day unlike any other in the Bay Area.
It's really easy to catastrophize in this situation and think of all the things that could go wrong and all the what ifs.
How do you process all of this information all around you?
The processing is what takes time. You know, we can't process all of this stuff all at once. Our emotions are meant to be shared with other people so that we don't feel alone and so that things feel a little bit less burdensome.
Dr. Gable gave us age-specific advice, starting with the youngest ones.
Just saying it's because of the fires and keeping it simple.
And for those kids and teens with more questions.
You want to be answering them, but not in a way that, you know, causes more escalation or anxiety. It's important that parents stay level-headed and validate their teenagers' feelings and not sort of dismiss them.
You've lived in the Bay Area for more than 20 years. Have you seen anything like this?
Never.
And when that's the case, Dr. Fleischer said you must reach for the kind of support that will get you to say this.
If I can make it through today, then I can make it through tomorrow.
In San Francisco, Chris Reyes for ABC7 News.
Something we should all remember. Now, it seems like everyone today was taking pictures and sharing them with their friends. Wow, that one is gorgeous. We have a photo gallery on our website, abc7news.com, along with an explanation of why the sky looked so strange, the science behind it.
Boy, those are great shots, aren't they? Well, it is hard to go outside when the sky looks like it does today and when the sun is blocked by all the smoke. Spencer explains it all in his weather forecast. That's next. All right, this is a live look at San Francisco International Airport, which isn't the worst sky we've seen all day, but imagine if you're flying into these conditions. Hear what some travelers saw on their approach.
It went from like kind of white clouds to like a fog, and then it was just red, and the redness just permeated the whole sky.
It was just dark burnt orange. It was crazy.
You couldn't really see anything. It was scary.
The air quality did not affect air traffic, which is actually quite remarkable. Look at that picture, Kristen. against the orange sky at SFO.
I know. I was just thinking about people flying in. It must be so jarring. And Spencer, I actually had a friend text me to say, we're all going to die. And I'm like, no, we're not going to all die, although it does look very threatening.
Yes, it does. Not only does it look weird to people flying in, it looks weird to those of us who woke up to it this morning. So we have basically an atmospheric layer cake, if you will. The reason for the appearance of the orange and yellow hues is that smoke scatters blue and green light waves, which have a shorter wavelength anyhow, but the orange and yellow and red waves come right on through the clouds and fog, and that's why everything looked orange. Here's a look at that layer cake. It was a more powerful effect on us this morning than right now, because this morning the surface wind, the onshore flow, was stronger, which reinforced the marine layer and kept the fog and the low clouds there, with adding to the smoke above, which is in the upper layer of the layer cake, and that's what gave us that weird, strange orange yellow view of the sky. Right now the upper level winds are getting a little bit stronger and the surface winds are getting a little bit lighter, so maybe the blue and green rays will be able to get through tomorrow. We're hoping for that. Right now you can see the surface wind is relatively light, so let's move along and take a look at current conditions. Still rather orange as we look across the Embarcadero from our rooftop camera. Current temperature readings are 59 in San Francisco. We have mid-60s at Oakland, Mountain View, San Jose, and Gilroy, 57 at Half Moon Bay. Another rather orange hue in the atmosphere as we look westward from Emeryville. Current temperature readings in other locations right now, low 60s at Santa Rosa, Novato, Napa, 68 at Fairfield, 69 at Livermore, Concord, 65 degrees. And this is the view from East Bay Hills. This is a very colorful view, not a pleasant one, but a colorful one. Looking out over the bay from the East Bay Hills, and these are our forecast features. We'll have fog, haze, and patchy drizzle during the overnight hours. Poor air quality will be with us again tomorrow, and we haven't extended, but the air quality control has the spare the air alert through Friday, so we will now have at least 25 consecutive spare the air days, perhaps more. Looking ahead right now, this is the air quality forecast. Poor air quality in many regions of the Bay Area tomorrow and Friday, and we expect moderate air quality on Saturday and Sunday, but that could change depending on the amount of smoke that collects in the atmosphere and, of course, the wind flow. So let's look at overnight conditions. We will have another night of the marine layer forming at the coast and pushing locally across the bay and locally inland. And there may be some patchy drizzle, mainly near the coast and bay. We could use some rainfall, but that doesn't seem to be in the forecast right now. So early tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock, as the commute gets underway, we'll have some lingering low clouds and fog, and no doubt the smoke above. And the ingredients will be there for another orange sky. We're just not sure yet if that will materialize. Then the low clouds and fog pull back to the coastline during the day, giving us a chance for some bluer sky. Overnight low temperatures will be mainly in the mid to upper 50s, perhaps some low 60s in some inland East Bay locations like Antioch. And then looking ahead to tomorrow, there it goes. A little slow in the clicker here. Down in the South Bay, hazy skies with high temperatures ranging from about 78 at San Jose up to 81 at Morgan Hill. On the peninsula, we'll see mainly mid to upper 70s, about 74 Palo Alto. On the coast, low 60s tomorrow. Downtown San Francisco will top out at 67 degrees tomorrow. Up in the North Bay, look for highs of 77 in San Rafael and Santa Rosa and Sonoma. 77 will be a popular number tomorrow. East Bay highs, 72 at Oakland, 75 Hayward, 75 at Castro Valley. The inland East Bay will top out mainly in the mid-80s. Not much milder than, not much warmer than that. Here's the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. A little bit warmer on Friday if the fog clears away early enough for the sunlight to come through. A steady pattern going into Saturday, then a little bit cooler again on Sunday with a cooler than average pattern going into early next week. And if things align properly, we hope for some better air quality as we get through the weekend and into early next week. Kristen and Dan?
Okay. Spencer, thanks very much. Well, the sky looks bad, but how bad is it for your health?
Air quality experts explained if it's actually as bad as it looks. Next.
It only happens once every 10 years. I'm Michael Finney. Coming up on 7 on your side, what happens if you don't fill out the census form?
Building a better Bay Area for a safe and secure future. This is ABC7 News.
The clock at the San Francisco Ferry Building chimed the hour, but at 11 a.m. it hardly looked like late morning. There was no sign of the sun. Cars and cyclists were using their headlights to see where they were headed.
ABC7 News was in Oakland around the same time this morning. Jack London Square was very quiet just before noon.
I'm born and raised here in Oakland, and I'm 40 years old, and never seen this before. First time in my life.
Looking outside today, many would assume that our air quality was likely to take a big hit, right? Well, that hasn't turned out to be the case, with air readings painting a different picture.
Yeah, however, that doesn't necessarily mean it's safe for everyone. ABC7 News reporter Chris Wynn has the story now from the South Bay.
As wildfires burn across Northern California, a combination of smoke and haze made for a Martian-like glow across the Bay Area sky.
It feels like it's the end of the world, or something is lurking. Something's in the making. It's a very eerie feeling.
With ash falling from above, the darkness during the day could almost be mistaken for an early evening. This mother-daughter duo decided to visit Santana Row despite the conditions.
Just staying indoors, it kind of makes me go crazy. So going outside right now, even if it's just taking a quick walk, is kind of my outlet to freedom at the moment.
In San Jose throughout the day, air readings of fine particulate matter were considered unhealthy for those with breathing or other underlying issues, according to the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. Many expected the numbers to be worse. However,
that smoke from the wildfires is being trapped in a layer of air above the air of what we're actually breathing.
Dr. Sharon Chinthraja with the Sean N. Parker Center for Allergy and Asthma Research at Stanford says while the ash may be alarming to see, it's actually easier for our bodies to keep out of our systems.
It's the smaller particles that we may not be able to see that settle, that actually get inhaled through our nose and through our mouth. That we worry about causing inflammation or causing symptoms.
Experts say it's important to continue monitoring the AQI and to pay attention to what your body's telling you.
If your nose is running, if you're having breathing symptoms with labored breathing or chest pain or things like that, that's where you should seek medical attention.
In the South Bay, Chris Wynn, ABC7 News.
And new details tonight on PG&E's deliberate power shutoffs. The utility just delivered an online briefing. PG&E says its crews are still working to restore power to 25,000 customers. On Monday, PG&E deliberately shut off power to thousands of people in 22 counties to prevent its equipment from sparking wildfires. PG&E says the smoky air has slowed their effort to restore power.
We have crews actually out there working right now making repairs. What's holding us back from being able to fully restore to the 98% level was really the ability to get helicopters up in the air.
The peak winds during the event were 66 miles an hour. So far, PG&E says they've found 27 instances of weather-related damage to its equipment.
We are working to build a better Bay Area, and the pandemic has added new challenges, from changing how we work to how our kids go to school. Working parents are sandwiched between both struggles, but paid leave could help.